bit because only a small part is being there, and then we will be seeing the first aid part and all that. Okay. So first of all, fine. So, as we were doing about the vaccination, and as I have told you that vaccination is nothing but it is we are preparing our body by exposing it to the actually the germs, actually the organisms which is causing that particular disease. So, if you introduce, if you just give the introduction to your body about that particular organism, then your body will be preparing the whole immune system to fight with it, and it will prepare some memory cells which can be retained in our body for a lifetime. And whenever you come across with that type of infection, you have your body is already prepared with the soldiers and all that, so that the the disease will not be affecting to your body very much. Is it clear to you? Okay. So see to it is that. So, as we were seeing that vaccination, when we talk about vaccination, there are different types of vaccinations can be prepared. There may be the possibility of that we give only the killed, completely killed germs or the organism, I will write. Okay. Killed germs, killed organisms, if we inject in our body, then the body will function in the same way as the live organism is being introduced in our body. Because the thing is, uh, any living organism, the basic concept of this particular immune system is that it identifies the protein. I think right now you are watching the uh, TV nowadays. You may see that they show you the uh, germs, and they have this type of structure. Am I right? Am I? Can you hear me? My voice is clear to you.
Yes, yes.
Okay, fine. So just say this. So nowadays you must be seeing this, that they are showing you jumps on a TV, and they have this type of structures, and just like a ball-like structure with so many strands coming out of it. So this is how it can be seen. Okay, and the thing is, all these things which are coming out of these germs are made up of proteins. Okay, so immune system have that tendency, have that capability to identify that protein, and they fight against it. So when you introduce killed germs or killed organisms, then their dead body will also having the same type of structure, and these dead bodies proteins will be identified by our body, and it will be preparing the immune system for it. So this is how the kill germs can be introduced. there may be the possibility, you have so many examples of the vaccine in which kill germs can utilize, and they are very much popular. You must be aware about typhoid vaccines are there, in that kill germs are being utilized, and polio is there. In here also, kill germs are utilized, and you must have heard about the rabies, which is caused by a dog bite. Okay, so all these diseases will be having the kill germs vaccination. Okay, so this is how it can be done. Second, there may be the possibility that you provide a living germs, but they should be weak enough. Okay, weakened. They should be made weak or weakened. That means they should be living, but they should not have the ability to cause the disease in the healthy person. Only the thing is that they will be identified by our immune system, and our immune system will prepare itself, prepare all the soldiers against it, and it will kill this particular germ. But this germ will not be causing any disease when it is provided as a vaccine. This is how it can be done. Then there may be the possibility, the way it was being discovered, that fully virulent, virulent matlab, the thing is, the one which causes the disease, the one which is very harmful, that is called virulent. Okay, so when nowadays is not being done, because we have so many technologies to do all these things, so it is better to go for all these options, because there may be the possibility that if you introduce the fully virulent organism, there may be the possibility that you cannot instead of preparing vaccine, uh, there may be the possibility that person may die. So this is a little bit is avoided. And the fourth one, you can have the toxoids. Toxoids means, because these are the germs, and these germs have capability to produce some poison like substances, and they are called toxins. They are called toxins, poison like substances which causes the diseases. Okay, so there may be the possibility that from some of the germs, you just take out this substance and introduce in the human body, so that uh, the human body can prepare the immune system to fight against it. So what basically been done, that you have to take out the organism, separate the organism, take out the toxins from it, a substance from it. Then just you have to deactivate. You have to deactivate this toxin, and then you have to introduce in human. When you will do this, then human body will prepare the immune system to fight against this particular organism. So in future, if this organism is being entering inside the body, then your body is already prepared for the toxins which is being produced by it. So there are examples like diphtheria, or sorry, diphtheria, tetanus. I think you must have heard about tetanus, because sometimes yeah, you must have got the injections of also when you fall down on an open road, or something, you if you hit by have a hit by like wood or iron or something like that, So you go to the doctor, you have the injection of a tetanus. Okay, so tetanus is nothing but a type of toxin. A type of toxin is being given to your body so that your body is fully prepared to fight against the germs. Is it clear to you?
Yes, miss.
Fine. So this everything, whenever you are preparing a vaccine, that process is called immunization. That process is called immunization. Immunization means it's it is type of what we call uh, a program, like the you have a program in our country to eradicate the polio. You have a program in our country to eradicate the tuberculosis, that means TB. Okay, so that means the whole country is being immunized against this disease. So if that immunization is nothing but a program which is run by either WHO or UNICEF or UNESCO or particular country social welfare. These people just what they do, they establish a program, they provide a free vaccines to the whole population, and uh, and they just maintain the whole the whole 12 month or a one, if I say 12 month or a 1 year schedule, that when this particular vaccine has to be given to which patients and to which type of population it is being given, that whole system which is working, that process is called immunization. The way you see, you have a Sunday which are reserved for polio vaccine, and the small kids are having the polio Sunday. You must have seen the banners also. So that is a immunization program to immunize the country for that particular disease. So now our country is free from TB. Now our country is free from polio. uh, Only few cases sometimes may appear because there may be the possibility that that particular individual may not got the reach of that particular vaccine. So there may be the possibility, but almost it is being eradicated from our country. So that thing is called immunization. Is it clear to you?
Yes, miss.
Okay, fine. So
Miss, can I copy? Please wait.
yeah, sure. I just started with this only. From here only I have started. Okay. Is it done?
Yes, miss.
Okay, fine. So, vaccination and immunization, vaccination means to prepare a vaccine for a particular disease, and immunization means to provide these particular. Yes, yes.
তুমি বারবার মাঝখানে ডিস্টার্ব কেন করতে চলে আসছো?
Please switch off the mic.
ডিস্টার্ব কেন তুমি আমি যখন খেলছি তখন ডিস্টার্ব করো না। যেমন আমি খেলছি তুমি দেখে নিতে পারো, আমি খেলছি, বিশ্বাস করো আমি খেলছি। হ্যাঁ কাটে দিছি না, কাটে
Switch off the mic, dear.
জুম বটে, এটা কোনো ওয়েবএক্স নাই। এই সরি মিস।
Yeah, okay, fine. So the thing is, vaccination means to prepare a vaccine for a particular disease. The way we are doing for the corona right now, the whole world is searching for the particular successful vaccine, and immunization means to provide that vaccine to each and every individual of the country or the world wherever it is being the diseases is being found, and uh, make to eradicate that particular disease from that area. That is called immunization. So you have understood the difference between vaccination and immunization. So let's go for the next one. Little bit is that there a small topic is there in your book, that what should be done to avoid the diseases. That means preventive measures and all that. So I think you all are aware of this thing, that when we talk about the preventive measures, okay, and what should be done to avoid the diseases. Definitely you should maintain the hygiene is very important, because if the things are not clean, if the area surrounding you is not clean, that will lead to the disease, and it will be not it is not you cannot escape from that particular diseases if your surroundings are not clean. So hygiene, avoid throwing the garbage at the open space, avoid use the toilets if you don't don't go for the people who don't have a proper houses and all that. That is why government is preparing some free toilets for them and all that, so that open sanitation should be avoided. Okay, and the drinking water should be kept clean. The drinking water should not be pollute mixed with the one that is called the, it should not be polluted. The your river water resources like river or ponds or lakes, whatever are being there in your city, they should be kept clean. Their garbage dump area should not be there. You should not throw waste inside that if you have that source as your drinking source. So many things are there. You are, I think you all are aware of these preventive measures. Then avoid open sanitation, like is very important. And then it should be avoided. Okay. Then you have this that uh, the habits has to be controlled for tobacco, for smoking, for alcohol, for drugs. I think you all are aware of these things nowadays, because the news is coming from whatever is coming is full of these types of things. Okay, so it's the because all these things are just destroying your immunity. They are destroying their immune system. Okay, so these things are not good, and they are not necessary for your life. I think they are, any of them are not playing the role of oxygen. Any of them are not playing the role of water, and any of them are not have 1% of nutrition also in them. They don't have carbohydrate, proteins, lipids, fats, or vitamins, or calcium, or something like that in them. So you don't need this all these things. So avoid them first of all, and because if we talk about smoking, if somebody at your home also smokes, uh, he is the active smoker, and you are a passive smoker. You don't smoke, but you are in complete continuous contact with that smoke, then you are also being addicted to that particular thing. Okay, fine. So that is why if somebody has the habit of smoking at your home, ask them to avoid the smoking. If they don't listen, if they don't hear, just tell them, get outside of the room or get outside of the house, smoke, and then come inside or inside. Okay. So it's because we can teach people, we can make them learn, we can tell them that what are the harmful effects. But people, if they have that tendency that they will not listen to anybody, then just tell them, do whatever you want to, but at least leave us. We don't want to get addicted by all these things. Okay, so it's your duty that how you should escape from these things. Okay, so preventive, these are all the bad habits. It is not a good thing. Okay, so uh, that is what you have to learn. And keep yourself clean, keep yourself properly sanitized, and wash the hands when you are coming inside the house from some place, from somewhere outside. Just wash your hands and legs, both of them. And second thing that you must have seen, I don't know this is being done practiced nowadays or not, but in if you visit the villages, or if you see the old somebody who is older at your home, they say just don't wear the footwear which you are wearing outside, don't wear it inside the house. I think you must have heard about it. So whatever footwears you are wearing outside the house, they are they should be removed outside the house only. Okay, and it should not be in wear inside your home. So because your footwear is in direct contact with the floor on which you are walking, so it have the introduction with the so many germs, and they may come into the house. That's why you have to leave them outside only. And footwears are basically made up of leather and rubber and all that, so these things are having uh, capability to hold the germs for a longer duration. So that is why they should be avoided outside the house only. Is it clear to you? Understood? Fine. So let's see. Then the next one, that is the first aid. Very much important for this. The second part of this chapter, that is the first aid. So first aid is the thing which should be provided to the sufferer or the patient or the one who is having that particular symptom, and the first aid should be provided so that you can avoid the serious consequences of that particular situation. Okay, so uh, so many accidents, so many small inappropriate activities occurs sometimes at our home also. In the kitchen, if your mother is working, sometimes she get burnt with the things, she get a cut in the hand and all that is happening. So you should know what you have to do, what act should be done, and that is called first aid. Before going to the hospital, whatever is, I think you must have heard about the ambulance that is called 108, which is running for the emergency. And you are, if you have the access ever to look inside that particular ambulance, they have a good, very good kit for the first aid, in which so many things are being there. And what these people do, they just provide the first aid to you before taking you to the hospital. They don't have the treatment facility, but they have the first aid facility with them. So that is what 108 is working for. And if ever your school starts, whenever, so just ask your school, or your teacher to call 108, and they will come to you, and they will show the whole ambulance how it is working, and how, what type of facilities they are having. So in that, first aid kit is very good, and that should it is of, I think, international level we are having, and it should be definitely being, should be seen for the students. It is very good to introduce. Okay, so whenever your school starts, just ask your teachers to do so. So first thing about, if first aid should be provided, the first thing that is called burns. These are the very common thing happens basically in the kitchen or the house. It happens, a small burns is happening in the small accident. So you have different types of burns. First of all, superficial burn is, we when you are when you have the burn, it is being measured in the form of degree. uh, First degree burning is there, second degree is there, third degree is there, fourth degree is there. That is how the burning levels are being decided, and it is all depending on that uh, how much damage is being caused by the burning. Okay, so if it is superficial, that means only on the surface it has happened. Okay, so nothing what you have to do is, you just provide a cold water on it, or a ice pack you can place it on it, and just leave that particular burn for a open. And if you have a capability to dress it with a ointment or something like that, then you can dress it, but you can keep it open and it will be healed on its own. So that is how superficial burn can be dealt. Then you have deep burns. When it is very deep, when your so many layers you are having inside the skin, all of them are get burnt, then water should be avoided. Water should be avoided. At that time, water should not be, the burn should, that means your the area which is being injured, which is being burnt, should not be introduced with water. Otherwise, it will just uh, uh, worse the situation. And on that, directly some ointments are being given, and dressing has to be done. Okay, with fine cotton and all that. So that has to be done. And then you have chemical burns. Chemical burns, like the burn which are caused by acids and all that. You must have seen the, if you have seen, or if you have not seen, you must be aware that the movie came, that Chapak, in which the lady which is uh, being attacked by acid. I think you must have seen on television that how she is being the whole acid was being drawn on the body, and then continuous water, flowing water should be uh, provided to that patient. And means the whole patient should be under the flowing water for at least 10 to 15 minutes to wash out the chemicals from the surface, which is get burning the uh, skin surfaces. So that is what you have to do. So you should aware that what type of burn it is, and water should be uh, they are introduced or not. That should be very important. Okay, so first aid for burn is this. Then you have a second one, that is if somebody is bleeding heavy. If somebody have an accident and he gets injured and it's bleeding heavily. So first thing what you have to do is just uh, suppose on the leg if it is there, on the hand it is there, you should keep the injured area against the gravitation. Suppose if it is on finger and if it is blood is flowing from here, just keep it on the upright position so that it is against the gravitation. The blood flow should be against the gravitational force, because if you keep it like this, then due to the gravity the blood will come out. So you have to keep it like the area like this so that the blood flow can be restricted a bit. And sometimes light bandage has to be given over if injury is here. Just hold this area a little bit in a very tight manner so that blood will not come in this region. Until then this area will be clotted. So that is how the bleeding can be avoided. Okay. uh, but there may be, suppose if this happens with some other area, like if it happens with the head or if it happens with the uh, shoulder or something, some, then how you will avoid the gravitational force? So there are different types of treatment for these regions. So you don't have to tilt the patient like this and that. You don't have to make them just punish them the way that you should turn your head like this, turn your head. No, nothing has to be done. Because if it is on a head, just remember that whenever there is an injury on the head, just ask the patient to stay awake. Don't let them sleep. Okay. Whether it is bleeding or not bleeding, in both of the case. If it is on the head, don't ask them to sleep. Don't ask them to close their eyes. Just keep the eyes open and stay awake and try to reach the hospital if it is serious injury as soon as possible. Okay, so this is how it can be done. Then that means avoid, what you have to do is avoid the gravitational force. Okay, and then you have the fractures. If the fractures are there, uh, basically whenever there is a fracture, uh, what suppose if your hand gets twisted for some reason, your hands get twisted, and the person who is suffering from that fracture is not aware of it, or suddenly if this twisting is happening, what people do, they will start tilting and doing something like this on different angles. Is it paining here, is it paining here, they will check you like this. And don't do that, because what happens actually, that your bones are getting disturbed when they are fractured and you are moving them in different positions. Because you are not a doctor, you don't know in which angle the hand should be moved. So what basically people do, the one they just hold the patient and they will ask, is it paining here, is it paining here, is it now it is good. How you are feeling if I do this, if I do this? So don't do that. What happens basically, that whenever there is a fracture, suppose uh, I will just take the example of this one. Okay, so if you have a fracture, suppose you have a crack over, at this bone, just what you have to do is just take one stick, a solid stick with you, or a scale with you, and provide a support to this region. Okay, wherever you have a fracture, and just cover it with a bandage, this particular area. So you, what you are providing is a solid base to the uh, broken zone, and just cover it with the, bind it with the bandage around it, just bind the bandage and take the patient to the hospital. Then what the doctor will do, they will just remove this support, they remove the bandage, and then they can locate the bones exactly where they should be placed. and then the bandage can be given. But if you start moving the bones like this, there then what will happen? The bones will get misplaced, and then exact location of the bone cannot be obtained, and the patient may suffer from that injury a little bit harsher. It can happen. So this is how the fracture can be handled. Understood this?
Yes, miss.
So provide solid support wherever the fracture is there. Sorry, support. So this is how the fracture has to be treated. Now, if you have some injury at the eye, or there may be the possibility that sometimes you are driving, riding your vehicle, and some insects just enter inside your eye, and that is happening. First of all, wear the your sunglasses properly if you are moving outside, to avoid the basically for to avoid the radiation, harsh sun, that should be avoided. But the thing is, if something happens to your eye, then first thing that you have to do is don't rub it. Okay? Don't rub it. Don't do the itching. Just do one thing, that uh, open it wide, open wide, and apply the flowing water to it. If this can be done, then the thing is, I can be saved, and you have so many. If you then reach to the doctor, they will be providing you with the particular drops and all that, so that your eyes can be healed. But the thing, main important thing is, don't rub your eye. Basically, that is happening in a first response which is coming if something happens to the eye is rubbing. Okay, so don't do that. Then you have another thing is that if somebody is feeling unconscious, uh, unconscious is happening. Okay, uh, that means if somebody is having basically in assembly, you must have seen that the students get fell down on the floor because they don't have a proper breakfast and all that. So their body is weak, and sometimes they just fell down. Okay, so unconsciousness, if it is happening, so then what you have to do is, wherever if person fails, first thing what you have to do is uh, lose the clothes. Loosen the clothes of the patient who is feeling unconscious. That means if he is wearing a shirt, then on the collar area the button should be kept open. That area should be loosened out. If they are wearing pant or something like that, then belt and that button should be opened, so that the fresh air or the proper movement of air can be provided to the body, so that the person becomes relaxed, the body become relaxes, and that can be uh, treated. And there may be many reasons for the unconsciousness. So there may be the possibility that suppose if you have a high fever, at that time also unconsciousness can happen. But uh, at that time you don't have to do that loose clothes and all that. But there are different types of unconsciousness. But do make aware that if surrounding you, like in school or something like that, if something happens with some of the students, any of the students, then you can do is there lose their clothes. If they are wearing shoes and socks, just remove them, remove the shoes, remove the socks, keep their legs open for with the air, and don't gather. What basically in school what happens, if one student falls, if each and every student will cover that area, what happened, if you are surrounding that patient, then what will happen? Air will not come to that particular individual. So just stay away from that area and allow the light air easily to that particular patient. Understood this?
Yes, miss.
Okay. Then you have, if you see somebody who have swallowed poison. Okay, fine. So somebody who is swallowing the poison, definitely that person will not do this thing in the open area, open space. Okay, fine. But if you come across that somebody has taken the poison or something like that, okay, then give them the salt water and tell them to drink it. If they are not able to drink it, just open their mouth and put the salt water in their mouth and close their nose so that
Miss, any poison means following any poison.
swallowing, basically if it is being swallowed, then this is the treatment.
Okay.
Okay, but the poison like through snake bite and all that, they have a different type of, I'm coming with that also. So but if you somebody who has swallowed it, because it is going to the digestive system, so that this is the treatment. Just open their mouth and pour the salt water in their mouth so that they can drink it. And if they are not drinking it, just keep the mouth wide open and continuously pour the salt water and close their nose so that they can swallow it. And what will happen basically, that when the salt water enters the system, it will uh, it will just uh, uh, force the patient to vomit out, because salt water is not being accepted by our body, and it will make the patient to vomit, and through vomit the poison will also come out of the body. So that is why the salt water has to be given. And then you have a snake bite. If it is a snake bite, okay, so first what you have to do is, suppose if this is a body part and you have a snake bite over here, then what you have to do is, first of all, you have to bandage tightly at both the region. Okay, and don't allow the flow of blood over there. And uh, what you have to do is, just try to extract the blood which is in the that local zone, and just extract that blood so that the poison should not go to the healthy parts. Okay, so just bandage the area first of all, and remove the infected blood so that the poison can be removed from that particular area. Understood this? Clear?
Yes, miss.
Okay, fine. Then you have stings. I think sting you are aware of, honeybee and all that may have stinged you once in a while. I don't know if you are if you have suffered it or not. But the sting, when happens, when some bee or some insect stings you, then what you have to do is, first of all, definitely you whenever there is a sting, bite or something like that, just avoid the uh, flow of blood from that region. Just put it the bandage over there. And what you have to do is, if there is a sting, then first of all, if it is visible, that sting is visible, just try to remove it without hampering your tissues, without destroying your tissues. Just keep remove it slowly. And if it is not being removed, then apply the baking soda in that region. If you apply the baking soda, then what will happen? Because I think must be aware that when baking soda is something which allows the things to get puffed. So if you allow that, they will come out of the sting will come out of that area. And or either what you have to do is just sterilize the needle, and you have to remove the sting from the injury. So that is how it can be done. So sting from the insects should be treated very well. Then I don't know if you have seen it, that your after removing the sting, you have a pain, you have a good heavy pain in that area. Then your mother must be doing that using the magnets, and apply the just move the magnet at the that space, and that will give you the calming effect, because magnetic field will help out to heal that particular area. This is how I think that is not given in your book, but this is how the sting has to be treated. Is it clear? Fine. Then you have the one that is called fever. Fever, I think almost all of you must have faced this. That when you have, when you were too small, or at that time, your mother must be doing that. When you are having a high fever, then cotton pads or hankies are dipped in the cold water, and they are provided on your they are placed on your forehead, and your so that your fever can be controlled. I think that is done. Are you aware of it?
Yes, miss.
Okay. And the thing is, see, basically, uh, 98 or 99, sorry, 99 Fahrenheit is something which is common. It is not a fever. Okay. Even 100, you will feel like fever, but you don't have to put the cold water bandages on your forehead. 100 can also be controlled if you have a paracetamol or something like that. But if the fever goes more than 102 or 103, then it is a thing to be worried, and sudden control of temperature is required. So at that time, cold water stripes has to be placed on the forehead of the patient. Okay, at 100 degree, you don't have to do that. So if because you are studying it, so just don't do this, that if somebody is having only 100 Fahrenheit, then also you are putting the bandage on his forehead. It is not necessary. It can be controlled with the medicine. But if it is going beyond 102 or 103, then it is a very dangerous, because high temperature of your body will destroy all the proteins of your body, and once the proteins are being destroyed, then your body will not be able to work properly. So that is why uh, the to protect all those proteins, your temperature has to be controlled. Understood this? Anything you have not understood?
Yes, understood.
Okay, fine. So this signs of the chapter over here, if you have the doubts, you can ask me. Do you have any doubts?
No, miss.
Okay, fine. So next class we will be starting with, I think you have a nervous system or something like that is there, right?
Yes, miss.
Okay, fine. So we will begin with that only, nervous system. Then we will be continue with endocrine system and adolescence. Okay. Just do one thing, that just send me the chapter nervous system whenever you are free in the day. Okay, anybody of you. Fine.
Yes, miss.
Okay, fine. Anything else regarding your exams or something you have? If you have doubts or you have a questions, you have queries. Nothing.
Yes, miss.
You have queries.
No, miss.
Okay. Others. That one girl is there, na? She doesn't have any doubts. Sanchita.
Miss, no query.
Okay, yeah, fine. Sayan, Shreyas, and Aditya. I don't know I am pronouncing your name correctly or not, but all of you, Sanchita, Aditya, Sayan, and Shreyas.
Miss,
Shreyas,
Miss Sayan. Miss, my name is
Sayan.
Sayan.
Okay, fine. Sorry for pronouncing it wrong. Sayan and Shreyas or Shreyas.
Miss Riyas.
Okay, sure. Any doubts? Anything to be asked here?
No, miss.
No, sir.
Uh,
No, miss.
okay, fine. So, nothing, then we can wind up for today. Okay, we can leave the
Yes,
meeting.
miss.
Okay, have a good day.